Live today. What it do? What it do? What it do? What it do? Is the ice and snow working for you? Is the real question. You know? So we gonna talk about what it takes to win in fitness. What it takes to win in fitness. I'm someone who has honestly felt as though I've won in fitness. Nice physique, very athletic at the age of 35, overcoming injuries from the past, and do understand those injuries from those car accidents have not slowed me down. So I want to say, you can get what you want, and we're going to talk about how to win in fitness. How to win in fitness. First thing when it comes down to fitness, I need everyone to understand that everyone's journey is going to be different. Everyone's struggling with something different. And everyone generally wants the opposite of what they already have. Generally, if you're skinny, you want more muscle. Generally, if you're fat, you want to be skinny. Everybody, I think the fights are the same technically. But at the end of the day, everybody wants something different. But one key is consistency. That's the one thing out of it all. Of the start is consistency. The start. So I'm not going to say consistency is the end all be all, because I've actually seen people who are consistent and their bodies do not look like they've been consistent. They've been inconsistent with other things, but consistency is key to start it off. You have to be consistent. Very consistent. I can't stress this enough. The more consistent you are, the easier things become. Second thing I will recommend if you want to win in fitness is tackle the thing that you struggle with the most. You need to prove yourself that you're consistent in this thing. So you have to do whatever it takes to win in this area. For me, when I first started my journey, it wasn't the working out. Working out has always been 1, 2, 3, 4. The toughest part for me when I first started my fitness journey was nutrition. I didn't quite get a gauge on nutrition. For me, I didn't realize I was very active and I was barely eating. That's why I didn't build any muscle. That's why for me, I feel like I fairly looked the same, even though I had seen improvements in running, endurance, conditioning, even the weights that I was lifting. But I didn't really see too much of a difference as far as the physique, because nutrition was something I did not quite understand. And I always say, do not solely rely on supplements. I do feel like supplements can be beneficial, but they should be exactly what it is, a supplement. Not lack thereof because you don't know what to do. I think a lot of people misunderstand protein shakes, because the people who generally show you to intake protein shakes are people who work out all the time. And them generally using a protein shake isn't necessarily that they actually need more protein at the end of the day. It's just they know that they're going to burn away some of that muscle. So be careful of where you're getting a lot of your information from. Oh, what it do, what it do, what it do. Remember, drop your question if you have any questions. I see we got 37 people on the live right now. But I do want to get you to understand that you have to be consistent and you have to understand what you're doing. That's another reason why, if you want to win, you have to make sure you are documenting this. Documentation is going to be very important. Documentation comes in so many different forms. Documentation isn't necessarily just pulling out a pad and writing stuff down. Documentation can be taking pictures of your food. That's something that I do. I don't use any scales or anything to that nature. Never have, never will. It just doesn't work for me, and it's going to stress me the hell out. So for me personally, what I love to do in those scenarios is I actually take photos. So that's the first thing. Take photos of what you're consuming. That's a great way to document it. Another way I document is by recording my workout. So if you're someone who has a workout partner, do me a favor. Make sure you got storage on your phone too. But if you're somebody that has a workout partner, do me a favor, and you don't have to, record every exercise, but, record some exercises so you can actually see your form, your technique, and everything. So that way you can make the proper adjustments when it comes down to what? Getting great results. I need us to understand these are things that we need to be consistent with. And in order to be consistent with them, I think one of the easiest things to do is document. But document the way that works for you. Like I said, I break down a lot of so many different ways to document. You know what I'm saying? So if you want that, just tap in with the Patreon. But overall, consistency is one thing. Nutrition is one thing. There's a category of things that you need to pay attention to. I'm always going to break it down into 1, 2, 3 if you're paying attention to the live. Like I said, I've been able to maintain a physique whether I was working out or not working out at the end of the day. And I just like to share and be very transparent as regards to what I've learned as far as being a personal trainer, as well as someone who has been their client forever. Like, I always tell people this: as a personal trainer, your first client is yourself. Me personally, I know what I do works, and it's not just because what I'm doing it for me. When we do the right documentation and we do the right assessment when it comes down to the client, we make everything make sense. Because a lot of people don't realize when you're starting off working out, there's a few things you do and want to pay attention to. And it's not just consistency is the thing that you want to pay attention to. There's a lot of things overall that you want to pay attention to that's going to allow you to be consistent. One thing I do not want you to do is do not bite off too much that you can chew. I see this all the time if you really want to build consistency. For example, it's February. How many of us are already thinking about dropping off? Let's be real. It's okay to think like that. It's okay to feel like that. It just may be things and tools that you need to utilize to keep that that spark, that energy, build that discipline. If you feel like you're going to fall off, it's not a problem with that. Don't feel upset. Don't feel discouraged. Just do a few things that are going to get you excited. So I always say this. When people generally have like weight goals, they want to lose the 30 pounds. They want to gain 15 pounds of muscle, whatever spectrum you want to go to, right? One of the best ways to stay motivated is document the exercises that you're doing. So a great example, you're going to the gym right now. You're working out X amount of days a week, 5 days a week. So you put in the work. First month you saw that you dropped 7 pounds. The next month you started to see it looks a little stagnant now. And it being stagnant is not a bad thing. It's just trying to get you to understand that, I think people miss this, is your body is very smart. It's paying attention to what you're doing, how you do it, and so on and so forth. So don't get frustrated at all when you see what's considered a plateau. A plateau is not bad. A lot of people think plateaus are bad. A plateau is just showing that your body has memorized what you're doing. So there may be a few things that you want to adjust. You might want to adjust the weight. You might want to do more reps. You might want to do more sets. You might want to change the range of motion. You might want to change the tempo, whatever it is at that point. If you want something a little bit more descriptive, like I said, these things are put in the 21-day challenge that we have going on, as well as the 24-week challenge. And everything is relative to the individual itself. You know what I mean? I'm not just giving you a cookie cut program and say, do this, you'll get great results. No. Everything I do is tailored. That's why I'm a little bit more expensive. Everything I do is niched. It's tailored to make sure I'm giving you something that specifically works for you. If it takes me 2 hours to make your routine, it is what it is. Mainly if you're someone that's battling against injuries, you know what I mean? So my biggest thing, once again, is to veer you in the right direction and have you stay consistent. Consistency is key, but it's not just about showing up to the gym. Showing up to the gym, to me, should always be the easy part. To me, if you ain't showing up and walking into the gym, you're just telling me you don't want it at the end of the day. When it comes down to me and the results that I've gotten over the years, I try to get people to understand one thing. Consistency is one phase of everything. It's one phase. We talked about so far nutrition. We ain't go too in depth into training, but training will be another thing. We ain't even get into recovery yet. Recovery is going to be key too, because a lot of people don't realize you can only perform as well as you recover. So there's a lot of ground that we need to cover in order to get in great shape. But I need us to understand it's the small things that we do and how consistent we are, which actually will show us the longevity. I tell people this all the time. You have to understand how your physique looks is relative to how you've been treating it. Let's be real. If you out of shape, you looking crazy, like I said, it's no need to get frustrated or feel some type of way or make all of these unnecessary excuses. Oh, it's genetics. I think it's so funny that people love telling me that it's genetics, but I'm like, if you see my family, you would say it's genetics. A lot of my family is out of shape. I will honestly say probably 95% of my family is completely out of shape, in my opinion. But I'm not going to go back and forth with that. It's just to kind of get you to understand that you shouldn't be focused on what someone else is doing. You need to make sure you're doing the things that work best for you at the end of the day. It's very important. Do the things that work best for you. If you're doing something or you don't feel comfortable with doing it, take it out your program. There's nothing wrong with that. I do that from time to time as well. Like if it's an exercise that I want to work on and I'm like, you know what, I can get results from this workout, but there may be something else I can do in between to help me get better at doing that exercise or make it easier for me to do that exercise. So a great example, this is one of my tricks as far as being able to lift heavy with legs, right? Before I go into squats and start hitting 315 plus or whatever the case may be, what I personally love to do is I like to go heavy with the leg press. The only thing that's missing when we go back into that squat is the posterior chain hasn't been challenged enough, but the legs can handle the load. The legs can handle the load for sure. I went as high as 1,000 plus pounds on the leg press. Something I want to get back to, by the way. Also, when you're doing extreme weight, heavy weight, please make sure you're protecting your body. I think that's something that's very overlooked, like wearing elbow sleeves, wearing knee sleeves, wearing a belt. Those little things can protect you to make sure, you know, that you can continuously do what you do. Because that's one of the things I want y'all to understand. A lot of what I'm saying and what I do from my workouts, what I want you to understand is I'm playing pickleball, I'm playing basketball. Like, I'm very athletic. I'm doing a lot of these different things. So when it comes down to it, what's up, baby? You say you want to take pictures with what? You say you want to take pictures with your what again? I can't hear you.
The one you brought from me to me on this hair.
Oh, so you want to take pictures with your camera. You want to take pictures with your camera. I got you. When we get home, do you know where it is?
No.
You don't know where it is?
I know. My mom took it from her, but it needs to be charged, actually.
Stop saying actually. Just say it needs to be charged.
It needs to be charged.
That's it. You don't have to keep saying. You overuse actually a lot. You say actually with everything. You say actually this, so you don't have to use actually. Actually is like a cover-up word for you. But hold, let me finish this real quick because we about to tap out. So do understand. I told you we'll look for it when we get in the house. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So do understand with the consistency. Sorry about that. Do understand with the consistency. At the end of the day, it's with a few things. It's not just one thing. Like I said, within me showing you, and I do want to disclaimer with my YouTube videos. If you go through my YouTube videos, I understand how it can be very confusing for some people because I'm talking about different phases that I'm in when I'm training. So you have to understand: am I lifting heavy around that time? Am I working on conditioning around that time? Am I working on heavy cardio? Everything is a time and a place for everything for me. And that's another reason why I say kind of listen to some of these, even these so-called gurus, with the grain of salt. Sometimes you got to really listen to the gurus or whatever you want to call them, trainers, whatever you want to call them, with a grain of salt. Because one thing I've noticed from hiring trainers and being a trainer for a long time, because I was a fitness director for a while, and one thing I do love that I did was I allowed each individual to unlock their style of training. Because there's you might get one person that just says do high intensity interval training. You might get another person that says I don't lift heavy. You might get another person that says slow and controlled is the best way to go. And do understand with any of those things that you pick, there's always going to be some type of limitation in reality. There's always going to be some type of limitation. That's another reason why for me, I like to incorporate everything we just said. High intensity interval training. I like to do different sports. At the end of the day, like pickleball wasn't something that, I'm going to be real with you. Pickleball wasn't something that I did with a grain of salt. I wasn't a fan of pickleball at all, to be real with you. If I'm going to be 100% transparent with you, pickleball is not my thing. But for me, because they kept on taking up the basketball court, I say eventually we walked in one day and I was like, you know what, I gotta try this. I gotta try it. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, it opened up my basketball game so much when it comes down to steps and lateral motions. I'm gonna tell you, changed the game for me. Complete.